Most people do not fail because life is hard. They fail because they think defeat before they ever begin. They smile in public and surrender in private. And if that secret is living in you right now, stay with me, because this may be the moment it dies. If you want more words that pull you out of the dark when nobody else can, then stay close to this voice and keep coming back until your weekdays stop winning. I know you are tired. I know you have tried before. I know what it feels like to carry hope in one hand and disappointment in the other. You tell yourself you will start on Monday. You tell yourself things will change when the money comes, when the right person comes, when the fear goes away. But let me tell you the truth, plain and simple. Your life does not move first and then your mind catches up. Your mind moves first and then your life follows. Positive thinking creates success. Positive thinking creates success. Not magic thinking, not fake smiling, not pretending pain is not real. I'm talking about the kind of thinking that stands up in the middle of a storm and says, I am not done. Think about that. Some of you have been speaking to yourselves like an enemy for so long that peace feels strange. You wake up already losing. You look in the mirror already ashamed. You step into the day already expecting nothing good. Then you wonder why your hands feel heavy, why your steps feel slow, why your future looks small. A bad thought repeated enough times becomes a room you live in. And once you live in that room long enough, you start decorating it. You call it being realistic. You call it being careful. You call it protecting yourself. But most of the time it is just fear wearing work clothes. Here is the first thing you must understand. Your mind is soil. Every thought is a seed. Every day you plant something. Every word you say about your life goes into the ground. Every story you repeat about your past goes into the ground. Every excuse, every belief, every quiet sentence you whisper to yourself at night, it all goes into the ground. And the soil does not argue with you. The soil does not judge you. The soil simply grows whatever you keep planting. If you plant, I am too late, it grows hesitation. If you plant, nobody believes in me, it grows bitterness. If you plant, I always mess things up, it grows weakness. But if you plant, I can learn, it grows courage. If you plant, this pain will teach me, it grows strength. If you plant, my best days are not behind me, it grows movement. That is why positive thinking creates success. Because thought is not just decoration, thought is direction. Thought is instruction. Thought is the first command your life obeys. Now listen carefully. A seed does not look like a tree. It looks small. It looks plain. It looks easy to ignore. That is how powerful thoughts begin. Quiet. Tiny, almost nothing. One better thought today, one better choice tomorrow, one better response next week. Then days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years, and one day people call you lucky when all they are really seeing is what you kept planting when nobody was clapping. Let that settle in. A lot of people want success, but they keep watering the wrong seed. They want a strong life with a weak mindset. They want a peaceful future with a bitter heart. They want big results while speaking small words over themselves every single day. It does not work like that. You cannot plant weeds and pray for fruit. You cannot feed your mind garbage and expect your life to feel clear. You cannot call yourself broken every day and then act shocked when you live like a broken man. No excuses, no waiting, no rescue, just truth. The words you keep in your mouth become the world you keep in your hands. And I'm not telling you to lie to yourself. If you are broke, do not say you are rich. If you are hurt, do not say nothing touched you. If you are behind, do not pretend you are ahead. Positive thinking is not lying. Positive thinking is choosing the best true thought that still moves you forward. It is saying, I am hurt, but I am healing. I am behind, but I am learning fast. I am scared, but I am still going. That is power. That is maturity. That is how you stop being ruled by the moment. Because the moment will always scream. The moment will always say quit. The moment will always say it is too much. But the seed only asks one question. What are you planting next? And here's what I love about seeds. They grow in the dark. They do not need applause. They do not need perfect weather. They just need consistency. Some of you keep quitting because your first few days felt small, but a seed looks stupid before it looks strong. Underground work feels like no work at all until one day something breaks through. Your new life may be underground right now. Your new habits may be underground right now. Your peace, your confidence, your discipline, your comeback, it may all be underground right now. Do not dig it up every day just because you do not see a tree yet. Keep planting, keep watering, keep guarding the ground. Speak life over yourself when your emotions want death. Speak hope over yourself when your history wants shame. Speak action over yourself when your comfort wants delay. Positive thinking creates success because what grows inside you always shows up outside you. So let me ask you something before you move one step further. What kind of seed have you been planting in your own mind all week? Now, once you understand the seed, the next thing you must understand is the lens. Because life is not only shaped by what you plant, it is shaped by what you look for. Give one man a broken car, a late bill, and a hard week, and he says, see, life hates me. Give another man the same broken car, the same late bill, and the same hard week, and he says, good, Now I know what needs fixing. Same facts, same day, same world, different lens. And that lens changes everything. Your mind is like a magnifying glass. Whatever you hold it over gets bigger. If you hold it over fear, fear gets bigger. If you hold it over rejection, rejection gets bigger. If you hold it over one mistake, that mistake starts to look like your whole identity. But if you hold it over possibility, possibility gets bigger. If you hold it over gratitude, strength gets bigger. If you hold it over one open door instead of 10 closed ones, movement gets bigger. Think about that. Most people are not destroyed by events. They are destroyed by what they keep staring at. They replay the insult. They replay the breakup. They replay the loss. They replay the moment they looked foolish. And because they replay it, they relive it. Because they relive it, they strengthen it. Because they strengthen it, they start building a life around it. This is why some people stay trapped long after the problem is over. The pain leaves, but the focus stays. The storm passes, but the eyes stay fixed on the damage. Listen, I am not telling you to ignore what hurts. I am telling you not to crown it king. There is a difference. You can face a problem without worshiping it. You can admit what is wrong without making it the center of your whole story. That is what strong people learn. They learn where to place their attention. They learn what deserves their focus and what does not. They learn that attention is expensive. Once you spend it, you do not get that moment back. So why keep spending it on thoughts that make you weaker? Why keep staring at the worst part of your life and calling that wisdom? It is not wisdom. It is habit. And habits can change. Let me make this simple. If I told you there were 10 doors in front of you and 9 were locked, what would most people do? They would waste the whole day yanking on locked doors. They would get angry. They would get tired. They would start saying nothing ever works for me. But the wise person would do one thing. He would start looking carefully for the one door that opens. That is positive thinking. It is not denying the 9 locked doors. It is refusing to stop your life there. Positive thinking creates success because successful people train their eyes before they train their hands. They see what can be built. They see what can be learned. They see the lesson in the loss. They see the chance inside the problem. And no, this does not happen by accident. You must train it. Train it when you wake up. Train it when you are cut off in traffic. Train it when somebody disappoints you. Train it when you fall short. Ask better questions. Not why does this always happen to me, but what can this teach me? Not why am I so unlucky, but where is the next step? Not who is to blame, but what is in my control. Better questions create better focus. Better focus creates better choices. Better choices create a better life. Let that settle in. And here is another hard truth. Many people say they want peace, but they are addicted to negative focus. They scan for what is wrong. They collect proof that life is unfair. They talk about the same pain so often that pain becomes their personality. Then when a good thing happens, they do not trust it. When a chance appears, they do not take it. When help arrives, they push it away. Why? Because their magnifying glass has been stuck in one place for too long. But you can move it. You can move it today. Start small. Look for one thing you handled better than last month. Look for one door still open. Look for one reason to keep your shoulders back. Look for one lesson this hard season gave you. Look for one part of yourself that did not break. See? When your focus changes, your energy changes. When your energy changes, your actions change. When your actions change, your future changes. Positive thinking creates success because it teaches you to search for power instead of proof of defeat. So when you wake up tomorrow, tell me this. What are you going to train your eyes to notice first? And that brings us to the part most people skip because they love the sound of hope, but they hate the weight of practice. Thoughts matter, yes. Focus matters, yes. But then comes the part where your life gets built. Not in a speech, not in a mood, not in one loud promise at midnight, but brick by brick. That is the third truth. Positive thinking is not the house. It is the blueprint. Action is the brick. Repeated action is the wall. Discipline is the roof. And over time, that house becomes your life. Too many people treat motivation like a match. A quick spark, a little heat, then darkness again. But a real life is not built by sparks. A real life is built by bricks. One brick laid straight, then another, then another. Some days it feels exciting. Most days it feels ordinary. That is where grown men are made. Not in wild emotion, not in big speeches, not in fantasy, but in daily bricks. Wake up on time. Lay a brick. Keep your word. Lay a brick. Read 10 pages. Lay a brick. Save a little money. Lay a brick. Walk past temptation. Lay a brick. Try again after failure. Lay a brick. It looks small. It feels slow. But brick by brick becomes a wall. Wall by wall becomes a room. Room by room becomes a home. That is how a life changes. Think about that. A lot of people say, I believe in myself, but their day does not show it. Their mouth says one thing. Their schedule says another. Their dreams say one thing. Their habits say another. You do not prove belief by talking. You prove belief by building. If you really believe your future can be better, then show me the brick. Show me the call you made. Show me the hour you gave. Show me the excuse you buried. Show me the habit you kept when nobody checked on you. Because positive thinking creates success only when it gets hands and feet. Without action, a good thought is just a nice visitor. With action, it becomes a builder. Now hear me clearly. Do not wait to feel ready. That is one of the biggest traps in the world. Ready is not a feeling that drops out of the sky. Ready is something you create by doing the work before your feelings agree. No one is coming to wake you up. No one is coming to force you to save money. No one is coming to drag your body out of bed and make you honor your goals. No one is coming, and that is not sad. That is freedom. Because the person capable of changing your life is already in the mirror. Not the perfect version, not the fearless version, the current version, the tired version, the one with doubt, the one with scars, the one who still has to build anyway. Let that settle in. You do not need a perfect week. You need a repeatable day. You do not need to fix your whole life by Friday. You need to lay today's brick before you go to sleep. That is why people stay stuck. They keep trying to build a whole castle in one afternoon. They get overwhelmed. They get ashamed. They quit. Then they call themselves lazy, when really they just had the wrong plan. Stop trying to leap into a new life. Build into it. Brick by brick. Phone call by phone call. Choice by choice. Promise by promise. And yes, some bricks are ugly. Some days you will drop them. Some days the line will be crooked. Some days your old habits will come back and laugh in your face. Fine, pick the brick back up. Real builders do not cry over every mistake. They adjust and keep stacking. That is what maturity looks like. That is what inner strength looks like. Positive thinking creates success because it keeps your hands moving when progress is too small for the world to notice. So if your life is built brick by brick, which brick are you finally ready to lay today? But even when you plant good seeds, train your eyes and lay your bricks, there will still be a part of the journey that tests you harder than anything else. It is the season you are in. Because life moves in seasons whether you like it or not. There is a season to begin, a season to struggle, a season to grow, a season to harvest. And one of the biggest reasons people give up too soon is because they think winter means the story is over. It does not. Winter is not the end. Winter is a season. That is all. But when you are standing in it, cold to the bone, tired to the soul, it can feel final. Maybe that is where you are now. Maybe the money is thin. Maybe the door closed. Maybe the person you loved walked away. Maybe you worked hard and nothing opened. Maybe you prayed and still felt silence. I am not here to play games with your pain. Winter hurts. Waiting hurts. Unseen effort hurts. But do not confuse pain with permanence. Seasons change. They always change. Think about that. No tree screams in winter because it has no leaves. It stands. It waits. It holds life inside where nobody can see it. Then when the time is right, what looked dead was only preparing. Some of you are judging your whole future by one hard season. You lost once, so now you call yourself a loser. You got rejected, so now you call yourself unwanted. You had a slow year, so now you call yourself finished. No, slow is not finished. Delayed is not denied. Winter is not your name. Winter is your season. And if it is your season, then learn how to live in it without giving up who you are. Positive thinking creates success because it gives you the strength to survive the seasons that do not clap for you. Anybody can smile in summer. Anybody can believe when the checks are coming, when the body feels strong, when the phone keeps ringing, when the crowd says your name. But what about winter? What about the days when your work feels invisible? What about the nights when doubt sits at the edge of your bed? What about the mornings when you have to encourage yourself because nobody else knows how heavy your chest feels? That is where character gets built. That is where real faith gets tested. That is where men stop performing and start becoming. No complaints, no drama, no surrender, just endurance, just patience, just one more honest day. Let that settle in. I want you to remember this. Seasons are not instructions, they are conditions. Winter says bundle up, not give up. Rain says adjust, not abandon. Wind says lean, not break. In the same way, hard times are not commands telling you to quit. They are conditions asking you to grow differently. Maybe this season is teaching you patience. Maybe it is teaching you humility. Maybe it is teaching you to build with less and waste less and focus more. Maybe it is teaching you to stop chasing applause and start chasing truth. Do not waste your winter. There is gold in it. There is strength in it. There is clarity in it. Some of your deepest roots are growing right now in a season you would never have chosen. And one day, the very season you beg to escape will be the season you thank for making you strong. I have seen it too many times. A man loses what he leaned on and finally discovers who he is. A woman gets overlooked and finally builds the courage to stop shrinking. A dream gets delayed and finally gets built on stronger ground. Time does its work. Seasons do their work. Your job is to keep your mind right while the season changes. Speak hope in winter. Practice gratitude in winter. Keep showing up in winter. Positive thinking creates success not because it removes winter, but because it teaches you how to walk through winter without becoming cold on the inside. So tell me honestly, how much longer are you going to call a winter season your final address? And now we come to the deepest part of all of this, the place where many people avoid looking because it is too personal, too close, too real. It is the direction of your own life, because at some point you must stop blaming the road and put your hands back on the wheel. That is the fifth truth. Your mind is the steering wheel of your life. Your hands may be busy, your mouth may be talking, your feet may be moving, but your thoughts decide the direction. Negative thinking turns the wheel toward fear, delay, and self-sabotage. Positive thinking turns the wheel toward growth, courage, and steady action. And if you keep drifting, do not act surprised when you end up somewhere you never meant to go. A car does not need a violent turn to leave the road. Sometimes it only needs a quiet drift. That is how dreams die, quietly, slowly. One bad thought unchallenged, one small excuse repeated, one more week of saying later. Then later becomes never. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years. And one day, a man wakes up inside a life he did not choose, built by thoughts he never corrected. That is why this matters so much. Positive thinking creates success because it helps you take the wheel before the drift becomes your destiny. Think about that. Not every thought deserves your trust. Not every feeling deserves control. Not every fear deserves a vote. You have to learn to grab the wheel back. When your mind says you always fail, grab the wheel and answer back. When your past says nothing good lasts, grab the wheel and answer back. When shame says stay small, grab the wheel and answer back. You do not win by letting every dark thought drive. You win by choosing which voice gets your hands. This is where a new life really starts. Not when the world changes, not when your bank account changes, not when everybody finally sees your worth. It starts in the private moment when you say, I will no longer let weak thoughts drive a strong future. Let that settle in. And once you take the wheel, the road still will not be smooth every day. There will be potholes. There will be wrong turns. There will be nights when you feel like pulling over and crying. Fine. Feel it. Breathe. Reset. But do not hand the wheel back to fear. Do not hand it back to the old story. Do not hand it back to the voice that only knows how to shrink. You are not meant to live in drift. You are meant to choose. Choose your words. Choose your focus. Choose your habits. Choose your response. Choose again when you mess up. Choose again when you get tired. Choose again when it takes longer than you hoped. That is what winners do. They do not make one brave choice and then live happily forever. They keep choosing again and again, in silence, in boredom, in pain, in hope. Positive thinking creates success because it keeps the wheel pointed where your future can actually find you. So before we close this out, answer this in your own heart. When your older self looks back at this moment, will he say this was the day you turned the wheel or the day you let fear drive again? Remember the first thing I told you. Most people do not fail because life is hard. They fail because they think defeat before they ever begin. That is the loop. That is the trap. That is the silent killer. But it does not have to be your story anymore. Picture yourself a year from now. Your shoulders are different. Your eyes are calmer. Your mind is cleaner. You walk into rooms without begging for approval. You handle money with more care. You keep promises to yourself. You wake up with purpose instead of panic. You still have problems, yes, but the problems are no longer driving the car. You are. Picture the people around you noticing something changed and not even having the words for it. Picture the old habits knocking and you not opening the door. Picture yourself sitting alone one night, tired but proud, because you know the man in the mirror can finally be trusted. Not because life got easy, because you got stronger, because you planted better seeds, because you trained your eyes, because you laid the bricks, because you endured the season, because you took the wheel. That is how positive thinking creates success. Not overnight, not by magic, not by pretending, but by changing the inside until the outside has no choice but to follow. So from this moment on, guard your mind like it is the gate to your future, because it is. Speak to yourself with truth. Stand up in hard seasons. Move when you are scared. Build when you are unseen. Correct the drift while it is still small. And when doubt whispers that nothing will change, answer it with action. Answer it with discipline. Answer it with another day done right. One day you will look back at this version of yourself, the hurting version, the hesitant version, the version that almost gave up, and you will feel love for him because he finally decided to stop feeding defeat. Life may still be hard tomorrow. The road may still ask something from you. The climb may still burn. But now you know the truth. Hard is not the end. Drift is. Weak thinking is. Surrender is. So do not fail yourself in private and then wonder why your public life stays small. Stand up. Reset your mind. Claim your direction. No excuses. No drifting. No quitting. Just becoming unstoppable.